USC President Carol Folt addressed campus-wide issues this morning at Bovard Auditorium. See what Folt has to say about the state of the university.
Mayor Karen Bass is speaking in the building behind me here at the University Park campus.
Rescue operations are underway in Baltimore after a major bridge collapsed early this morning.
Annenberg TV News is next.
So when you think about all that crucible, that wonderful world we live in, that is truly the state of our university, is the people that are here, the things they do, and the impact they have.
President Folt praised the USC community today in her delivery of the State of the University address. Hi, I'm Michaela Eidelberg.
And I'm Liv Kelleher. Reporter Vincent Demonte has the story of the president's remarks.
What can happen at USC? A lot. For President Carol Folt, her State of the University address is the time to explain just that.
It's just an amazing, vibrant place. How amazingly fortunate are we to be in a place of such vibrant churn and explosion of energy. And I think that's something that we all are determined to see continue.
Folt discussed many issues facing campus, from financial aid to the construction of new student spaces. She also talked about the growing tensions between students, especially in the face of the Israel-Hamas war.
We can have one day a number of students putting out the pictures of the hostages. The next day we can have a number of students putting up pictures of people that were being killed in Gaza, and people walk by with respect and dignity in such challenging times.
A group of faculty stood right here in front of Bovard Auditorium to commemorate educators who have died in Gaza. They wanted to bring attention to how the war is affecting education.
We hope to commemorate their lives, share a little bit about who they were while they were alive, you know, the nature of their work, what some of their passions and achievements were, and then, of course, in many cases, to sadly share that they died often along with many of their relatives.
USC students want to keep the attention on the Middle East. However, many are expressing concerns with issues on campus.
So I don't understand why it keeps getting more expensive to come here, while at the same time we're not even maintaining like the level of programs we have. It's decreasing. So I love USC, but I think we could be doing better.
Many expressed concerns about the fate of the now reinstated Academic Achievement Award. The award helps provide students with the ability to take more university credits each semester.
Feedback that caused them to reinstate it shows that it just caused a lot of students to believe that they never really had our best interests at heart in the first place.
We also questioned President Folt about tuition increases. She cited that the increase will be used to fund teacher salaries, construction projects, and for financial aid. For Annenberg Media, I'm Vincent Demonte.
What do we want?
Our people home!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Our people home!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Our people home!
Students marched through campus this afternoon in a walkout organized by USC Hillel and USC Chabad. The walkout was meant to bring awareness to hostages still held by Hamas.
And our goal here today was to express how passionate we are to bring our family, friends, loved ones home from being held hostage in Gaza for 171 days.
This walkout comes after numerous protests on campus following the attack on October 7th.
The Center for Political Future is hosting Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass for a conversation on what it means to be a mayor in the 21st century. Reporter Hannah Abwalhaj is live outside the event.
Thanks, Liv. In an event hosted by the Center for Political Future, Mayor Karen Bass is speaking with their 2024 fellow Michael Tubbs on the challenges of politics in Los Angeles and creating meaningful policy within the city. Mayor Bass's Inside Safe program tackles LA's homelessness issue by providing motel rooms for residents who leave encampments. The program has already placed 2,100 people into shelters and 400 have moved into permanent housing. During her visit to USC tonight, it is expected that Bass will further discuss plans for addressing the issue.
doing a good job of making the streets to hotel to housing support system process more equitable. Young people are very concerned about just the equity of these relocation programs. Her visit definitely has a positive impact. The more she engages with the younger demographics, I think the more that will, boost her public perception and also just perceptions around programs like Inside Safe.
The event began at 5 p.m. and Mayor Bass is expected to speak for 1 hour. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Hannah. A cargo ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge early this morning in Baltimore, causing a massive collapse. 6 people working on the bridge at the time remain missing. 2 people were rescued alive. The ship's crew called Mayday after the ship lost power, and officials were able to prevent more traffic from entering the bridge. Baltimore's mayor says all hands are on deck.
Listen, we are still looking actively for 6 folks. I've been across the water with my fire department, with the Coast Guard, with the county fire department, with the state's folks who have dive teams, the police departments. Everyone is working here together. This is a full team effort to find these individuals and help Baltimore and this community rebuild.
This bridge, which carries 34,000 vehicles per day, serves as the entryway to the port of Baltimore, which is the 11th largest port in the nation. Authorities believe that 7 vehicles fell into the water during the collapse. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said it is unclear how long it will take to clear the channel.
Today, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a legal effort to limit access to the abortion pill mifepristone. These pills are used in a majority of the nation's abortions. Judges seemed skeptical of arguments made by anti-abortion doctors who said that the FDA had overstepped in expanding abortion pill access. After 23 years of use, the American Medical Association and 12 other medical groups have found the drug to be both safe and effective. The anti-abortion plaintiffs argued doctors will suffer from continued pill distribution, especially if they have more objections to the drug. But justices countered that doctors can already refuse to provide care they morally object because of federal protections. The court is expected to release its decision on the case in late June after holding multiple rounds of closed-door deliberations.
A New York judge placed Donald Trump under a temporary gag order, barring the presidential candidate from speaking with witnesses, prosecutors, or potential jurors in his campaign financing case. This case deals with the alleged $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The case is set to go to trial on April 15th and is expected to reach a verdict ahead of the November election.
Anti-vax independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy announced his running mate today.
My fellow lawyer, a brilliant scientist, technologist, a fierce warrior mom, Nicole Shanahan.
Even though Kennedy comes from a political dynasty, he has never held office, and neither has his running mate.
NBC has announced that it is dropping former Republican National Committee Chair Ron McDaniel as a contributor. McDaniel was hired on Friday. The announcement was met with backlash from NBC on-air talent like Rachel Maddow and Chuck Todd. NBC Chairman Cesar Conde apologized to employees for, quote, letting them down. But he also said NBC remains committed to representing diverse viewpoints.
On the sports side, USC women's basketball has finally found that sweet feeling again. The Trojans will travel to Portland for the Sweet 16 this weekend. Reporter Classy Love has more on the hype around women's hoops.
March Madness is in full swing, but things are looking a bit different this year because, unlike previous years, this year, the college basketball excitement belongs to the women. Teams like the USC Trojans, Iowa Hawkeyes, or the South Carolina Gamecocks are drawing crowds to arenas and generating massive ratings on television. Women's basketball has never been this popular before. This isn't just some hot take either. Even Shaquille O'Neal has said it himself in an exclusive with People magazine, and I quote, "I hate to say it, but the women's players are kicking the men's butts. It's just a better game. It's more competitive."
They are just dominating. I think that they are just amazing players. They're so athletic and talented. I think that they're starting to see that there's a benefit to putting their heart and soul into the game.
More than half of a century later, we can say the passing of Title IX in 1972 is finally reaping its benefits.
Is but they're just doing a lot more, and I just see a lot more hustle with the women. And I'm sorry, Juju is just the bomb. So that's what makes it more than exciting. Really, and just watching the team work as a team. Because when she's not doing it, someone else is.
Things just got sweeter for the women Trojans because for the first time since 1994, they are headed to the Sweet 16. Happy March Madness. For Annenberg Media, I'm Classy Love.
Stick around for more women's basketball highlights from ATVN Sports.
Up ahead, we'll take a look at some of today's major headlines around the LA area.
Hundreds of janitors took to the streets of downtown LA to advocate for better working conditions. We talked to supporters at the rally about the issues these workers are facing.
ChatGPT isn't the only AI technology around to help you through class. We talked to Viterbi researchers about their new AI robot project.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latine voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all. Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dime la Hora.
Radio and Podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo. We have it all.
Dímelo. We have it all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
There's a new pet.
Chia.
Chia Pet, the pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. Soak your chia, spread the seeds, keep it watered, and watch it grow. And now grow a whole collection of fun with chia teddy bears, puppies, kittens, rams, bulls. There's even a chia tree to keep your pets company. Chia Pets and Trees, the pottery that grows.
The Chia Pet and Chia Tree are available at Kmart, Rite Aid, Ames, and Woolworth. Makes a great gift.
Janitors gathered in downtown Los Angeles today to demand better working conditions. Reporter Monique Davis caught up with them on a street called Hope.
Hundreds of janitors and union supporters gathered in downtown LA to protest what they say is employee exploitation, unfair wages, and sexual harassment in the workplace.
We talk about every day about preventing people from being homeless, but this is the way you can do that, is make sure they have a fair wage. So we're not going to fight until we win.
The gathering then took over the busy streets of downtown LA as the crowd marched more than 3 blocks.
We have these multi-billion institutions that are thinking that they're going to put their losses on the backs of our members, when in reality they continue to be some of the wealthiest institutions in the history of humankind. So you have immigrants here saying we will not let you strip us of our humanity.
According to the UCLA Labor Center, a 2018 survey of over 700 janitors found that 32% of female janitors had experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. The same survey found that nearly all female janitors who experienced sexual harassment or assault experienced inaction or retaliation as a result. Some supporters shared why today's protest is so important.
To come together and our voices heard better if it's a lot of people. Because 1 or 2 people is not going to be enough, but when we do something like this, we're going to get our message.
Hope that this march really motivates their employers to fix their contract.
Although they are fighting for better treatment, today's protest gave janitors the opportunity to come together as a community. For Annenberg Media, I'm Monique Davis.
You can love Los Angeles, but the city we call home is never without drama. Let's take a look around LA. Locals are protesting the construction of a new gondola that would run from Union Station to Dodger Stadium to supposedly help traffic on game days. But opponents claim the launch point for the gondola in Chinatown would bring no benefit and would lead to gentrification of the neighborhood. Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani is denying gambling allegations that surfaced amid reports his interpreter stole millions from him. Ohtani then suffered a big loss to the Angels, his former team. Tonight, the Dodgers have another chance to beat the Angels, this time at Ohtani's old home stadium. Federal agents raided hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' properties amid allegations of sex trafficking. Just this afternoon, Combs' team denied the allegations and called the raids, quote, a gross use of military-level force. From sports to entertainment, there's never a dull moment in the City of Angels.
Looking for an AI buddy to help with your studies? Well, researchers at Viterbi help develop kits for building AI robots at an affordable price. Blossom robots originated at Cornell University as a way to help students with ADHD. The robots developed at Viterbi are soft to the touch. Their crocheted skin and adorable head movements made them the perfect study buddy.
We spent a lot of time making sure that all of the individual pieces that you need to have to put together the robot were accessible and affordable. We're hoping that it can give an introduction to some of the main components that make up robotics.
An online kit will give students access to the resources they need to build their own Blossom robot, including materials and a 3-part learning module. The module will act as an introductory course on various aspects of robotics, such as software engineering and AI. The team hopes to use their robots to improve education in STEM for people of all socioeconomic backgrounds.
Well, we have Senwin coming up telling us if we're going to have that winning weather again this week or if we're going to be disappointed yet again.
Well, you know, Liv, we would be winning with the weather this week if it wasn't for that darn rain this coming weekend. But, you know, the weather is otherwise straightforward. Welcome back to Weather with a Winner with yours truly, Senwin Pareja. If you thought that our rainy, wet, gloomy weekends were behind us, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But before we jump ahead of ourselves, let's jump right into our current conditions. We are at 65 degrees with mostly clear skies. So a nice chilly evening out here in Los Angeles. And dare I say, perfect spring weather. Though let's see if that's going to continue throughout the rest of the week, as always, with our 5-day forecast. And oh yeah, if you thought right now was cold, it's going to get even colder. You know why? Because on Wednesday, we're going to see a high of 69 and a low of 50 with partly sunny skies. But then going into Thursday and Friday, it's our calm before the storm. So, of course, we're going to get those mostly clear skies with temperatures continuing to drop to highs of 68 and a high of 64. But then, of course, going into Saturday and Sunday, finally, here it is, bearer of bad news, rain, showers. Expect them to cloud up your weekend activities on both Saturday and Sunday, ending our week with a high of 58 and another low high of 60. So there you have it, children. Dust off those umbrellas. Make sure to put those rain jackets on standby because, well, you're going to need them. And don't say I didn't warn you. Chris, what's up with sports?
Thanks, Senwin. Up next, find out which Trojans are headed to Indianapolis for the NCAA Swim Championships. And baseball looks to get back on track against Fresno State. And women's basketball gets the sweet taste of victory and moves on to the Sweet 16. Next on ATVN Sports.
Bonjour, je suis le grand musique.
Je suis la jeune fille.
Yes, that's French they're speaking, and no, these children aren't French, they're American. And they've acquired their amazing new language skills from Muzzy, the remarkable new video language program for children developed by the British Broadcasting Corporation. With this unique BBC language course, children learn a second language with incredible ease. 4 delightful videos quickly become their favorite TV show and teaches children the same way they learned English. Learning another language becomes fun. You'll be amazed when your children begin speaking and understanding their new language from the very first day through this unique method. The entire course, 4 videos, 2 audio cassettes, the activity book, and the Parent's Guide and Answer book is available in French, Spanish, Italian, or German.
To order, use your credit card and call this number. We'll ship and charge you $28.08 a month for 6 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call 1-800-424-0700.
Okay, this stuff is really amazing. I mean, I put it in my mouth and I taste watermelon, but it's not just that. I taste strawberry too, but it's kind of like a watermelon-y strawberry put together. Hang on. Sorry about that. And the bubbles are really awesome. I mean, that's why they call it Max, I guess, obviously. That sort of makes sense once you think about it. Oh, I'm Dan, and that's Chuck. Hubba Max. A whole new kind of bubble. Hey!
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Chris Jose Nixon.
And I'm Anthony Botino. The one-seeded Trojans are still dancing their way through March, having punched their ticket to the Women's Sweet 16 last night. The Pac-12 champions have been on a roll after beating Texas A&M Corpus Christi by 22 points. They rode their wave of momentum to stomp down Kansas Jayhawks 73-55. Head coach Lindsey Gottlieb thinks a lot of their success is due to the team's chemistry and, of course, freshman star Juju Watkins.
We didn't need to manufacture something new tonight. We have great chemistry. We have really good players that are tough. Got to make plays to win. But there is a chemistry about us that gives me a kind of calmness. In terms of the ability to raise up a program and do it selflessly and do it with the magnetism, it doesn't work if you have a star that people don't want to play with.
So Chris, the Trojans are now entering the toughest stretch of the tournament. Do you think they have what it takes to keep it all going?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the Sweet 16, it's only the best teams in the country, and I do think they have what it takes. I think this next matchup against Baylor is going to be a tough one, but I think they do have what it takes to get it done. Baylor, they kind of have a multifaceted attack, a lot of really good players, but not one individual star, maybe like USC has, but I think they can get it done. But I don't know. What do you think?
You're right. Baylor is one of the teams which is not one standout performer, but they have gotten some really big wins over the season. They've beaten Texas, they've beaten Utah, they beat Kansas, who USC just beat, and they also beat a very dangerous Virginia Tech. They're at the top of the ACC this year, and they're also a 4 seed. So Baylor is definitely no team to mess around with.
Yeah, they did an impressive job. They were able to slow down Georgia Amore. She's tough. And so, it's going to be a good game, but I do think USC gets out of that one. The one that I really am worried about if I'm USC is that next one, which probably is going to be against UConn. And, they go up against Paige Beckers, another one of the best players in the country on kind of that Juju Watkins level. But I don't know. What do you think about that one?
That's right. I do agree that it is probably going to be UConn, and I'm going to be honest. They really need Juju to step it up. Juju is obviously one of the biggest talents they have on the team, a generational talent, but they really need her to perform at her very best if they're going to beat UConn. UConn has the experience over USC. Like we heard earlier in the show, this is the first time USC has been in the Sweet 16 since 1994. UConn is in this basically every year. And like you said before with Paige, another generational talent, she also has more experience than Juju Watkins.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be a matchup of a couple of Naismith Award finalists, and so it's going to be, I think, back and forth, kind of those two leading the way. It's going to be some tough buckets. I could not tell you who I think is going to win that game. I genuinely think it's 50-50, and then from there on out, it's likely either Iowa or LSU in the Final Four, should they get there, and then most likely South Carolina in the finals. It only gets tougher from here, obviously.
Well, it's definitely a tough road ahead for the Trojans. We'll have to see what happens. The rest of the tournament will be full of madness for USC as they will face very formidable teams. And their next game will be in Portland against the 5-seeded Baylor.
As we speak, the Exposition USC Student Athlete Mental Wellness Panel is underway at Tommy's Place. The panel includes 1 former and 2 current USC student athletes. Julia Scholes from the beach volleyball team is there, as is Bryce Brock from the track and field team, and lacrosse player Claudia Chavez. Audrey and Nicole Norse, twins on the beach volleyball team, got a chance to discuss their mental health journeys as athletes in their Trojan Ties episode produced by Exposition.
One thing that I never quite realized before going to USC was how important the mental side of sports is. Every time that you step on the court, you have to be performing at your best. Sometimes mentally that can be a toll. With my sister and I, not only did individually we have to be our best, but chemistry-wise.
The Norse twins helped co-found Exposition, which says its ultimate goal is to create a platform that student athletes can use to build and control their brands through their own words.
Back on the diamond, USC baseball returns home tonight for the first time in 7 games to take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. So far this season, Andy Stankiewicz's Trojans have underperformed and are coming off another losing series against crosstown rival UCLA. The Trojans need some victories, and a win over the Bulldogs could be the momentum builder they need. Fresno State's record is currently 16-7, 8 more wins than USC has. The Bulldogs also have 5 players averaging over 2.70, while USC only has 1. It definitely won't be an easy game for the Trojans to get back into the win column. The Trojans may be underdogs against the Bulldogs, but they have showed they can put up runs when it matters, so they aren't counted out yet.
Tomorrow afternoon, the NCAA Men's Swimming Championships will get started at IUPUI in Indianapolis. 6 Trojans qualified to compete. Krzysztof Chmielewski will compete in 3 freestyle events at different distances. Chris O'Grady qualified for the 100 and 200 yard breaststroke. Vagelis Makarianis in the 100 yard breaststroke. Artem Celine in the 50 yard freestyle. Ben Dillard in the 200 breaststroke, and Michael Chmielewski for the 200 butterfly. Krzysztof, who is one of the Chmielewski twins from Poland, has the 3rd best time in the country for the 1650 freestyle. He recorded it in November at the Texas Invitational, and he and the rest of the Trojans will compete for the top spots in their given events over the next 4 days. The championships for the men will end on Sunday. The women's team just finished 8th in their championships, which finished over the weekend.
That's all the time we have for the world of sports. For Annenberg Media, I'm Anthony Botino.
And I'm Chris Jose Nixon. What do we have up next, Michaela?
Thanks, Anthony and Chris. Now, have you ever wondered where President Folt spends her time? We'll give you a look inside her office after the break.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latina voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all.
Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dime la Hora.
Radio and podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo. We have it all.
Dímelo. We have it all.
Want quality name brand carpet for less?
Call Empire and you can get quality carpet at the lowest price guaranteed. And no payments for 1 year.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
I've replaced your shoelaces with fruit by the foot.
So you did. I replaced your fingers with fruit by the foot.
Bravo. I've replaced your bones with fruit by the foot.
Indeed you have. I replaced your guitar strings with fruit by the foot.
Seems like a step backwards, but alright. I've replaced your DNA with fruit by the foot. That would be end game, my friend.
Fruit by the foot. Fruit-flavored snack.
Following today's State of the University, President Folt invited Annenberg students to her Bovard office. Students rarely get a chance to meet President Folt here. Annenberg Media and the Daily Trojan sat down with the president at her conference table for a chat. Her office is full of light with big windows overlooking Founders Park. The shelves are full of books and personal trinkets, making it a space that one student described as incredibly warm. The space is painted and decorated in white, but pops of cardinal red can be seen everywhere, even in her accessories.
Now, with all that white, the office looks spotless, but I don't know if I would call that warm. Maybe she meant warm lighting.
I mean, it's very bright. Bright light is great for your productivity, and it was, it's a beautiful space. I don't really see a lot of other offices that look that nice and clean.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Liv. But thanks for watching Annenberg TV News, and from everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Michaela Eidelberg.
And I'm Liv Kelleher. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night and fight on.